You're watching WECT News at 6.
We've seen way too many times victims of domestic violence killed or too afraid to get away from their abuser. The domestic violence shelter helps those victims, and they also raise awareness, hoping to prevent more tragedies. WECT's Kim Ratcliffe joins us now from downtown Wilmington, where the annual Take Back the Night March and Rally is being held. Kim, are a lot of folks coming out for this?
Fran, folks are starting to show up here down at Riverfront Park for the annual March and Rally. You can see some of them right behind me. A lot of volunteers still setting up here along the river. For the last couple of years, this event has actually been held at the courthouse because of all of the construction going on down here. But we are back at Riverfront Park, hoping all of you can join us. Now, they're going to be talking a lot about doing small things with great love. That is tonight's theme. The domestic violence shelter, we know, offers women a place to go if they are victims of domestic violence, but really that is a temporary place for them to go. I recently met a victim of domestic violence who got help through the Family Promise program of the Lower Cape Fear, and she says that program helped save her and her son. Opening the door to a new apartment meant starting a new, much safer life for Kalina and her son.
The comfort to know that nobody's coming after you. You can just close your eyes and sleep in your own bed. And my child can sleep in his own room.
For 11 years, she lived with a man who promised to love and cherish her, but instead,
he threatened me. He will break all my bones and send me home. And I will never see my son if I don't do whatever he wants. I didn't know how to say no. I have never said no to him or refused or being negative about things. I was complying and I was serving and I was following and I was submitting and I was afraid. And then we had a child and I had to endure more.
There are no reminders, no pictures of Kalina's husband in her new apartment, but the memories of being beaten and abused physically and mentally still haunt her.
As a human being, not only husband or wife, you don't do that to another person. You don't belittle and you don't hit, you don't use, you don't abuse, you don't take, you don't go over somebody. It's the whole thing.
Kalina says her love and concern for her son made her finally decide to leave.
My job was to take the beating and to make sure when I put my son to bed that he's loved, to make sure that I say, I love you. But why did he do this to me, Mom? Because he's sick, because he's this and that. It's excuses. You don't excuse. So I had to remove us.
One morning 2 years ago, instead of driving her son to school, Kalina drove to the domestic violence shelter.
I was so petrified. I was looking behind my back all the time. I stayed 1 hour until they opened the office. I stayed in the parking lot, and that was the longest hour in my life.
When she left, Kalina was only able to grab a few important documents. She needed help to make it on her own.
How do you continue living a decent life? How do you cope? What do you do, and where do you live? I didn't have the means to rent an apartment. I didn't have a bed or another sweater or another t-shirt. We were on the street, but not on the street.
Thanks to Family Promise of the Lower Cape Fear, Kalina is now in her own apartment. Instead of being controlled by a man who said everything in their home was his, Kalina now controls her life.
Who says needs to be only one kind of a curtain? So I said, I like them both. I can afford them and I will enjoy them.
Little things like picking out curtains or arranging flowers are big steps toward an independent life.
We were blessed with people helping through placing us.
You know, You know, Kalina really is an amazing woman. I probably sat and talked with her for almost 2 hours. So much to tell in the story. But one more thing I want to share with you is the reason she finally left her husband. Somebody did something so small. Remember, tonight's theme is do small things with great love. Somebody handed Kalina a piece of paper. It had on it the common warning signs of domestic violence. I printed that today just to take a look at it. Some of the things that that are an indication that you are with an abusive partner, things like he isolates you, dictates everything you do, all of those things, Kalina said he was doing. That's what finally made her leave. Once again, tonight you have a chance to get involved. Come down to Riverfront Park, take part in the march and rally here, getting underway right about 6:30 to help spread awareness and hope to prevent further tragedies. Back to you.